Hi guys, welcome to this new tutorial. In this new video I would like to show you how to create a cool snare constructor rack, but first let me show you a little example. I'm talking about only this snare here. This video is about this snare. It's a really cool snare, and I use it layering several snares, but let me show you how I made it. And first let me tell you that this is not how I make my snares, but this is a very good idea for you if you like to construct your own snares and you don't want to fiddle with lots of samples, like, you know, lots of tracks, lots of audio stuff and other things. And this is a great idea, I think, to create cool sounding snares really quickly. So let me show you what I did here. So as you may know, a snare built of a transient, a tummy, and a tail part. Well, at least this is what I use. Let me show you a snare here.
Letsynthesize.
So here is a snare. So what I'm talking about, this part, it's not the best snare. This is great. Okay, so this is the transient part. This is a little clicky stuff here, like a percussion sound or a hi-hat. And we have this bottom part, which only basically the bass part, I mean the low end. This section should be filtered, I mean, because this is what I'm talking about, only the bass part. And we have the tail, which is a noise kind of metal-y stuff here. Well, it starts from here. It's a great sounding snare, by the way. So what I like to do is, let's see, I have two methods creating snares. The first one is the most beloved one. What I love to do the most is I create everything using operator or rather synthesizer. This is what I, well, in 90% of the cases do. But if I wouldn't do that, I would like just, you know, separate the transient, separate the bottom, and separate the tail, and just, you know, replace it with others, like, for example, using this transient. No, it's not good. For example, this is not good either. Oh my, this is great. Okay, so this is a cool clicky transient. So I just replaced the transient. Let's make some fades. And basically what I made here is a new snare. For the second stuff, I can replace the tail. For example, this tail is nice. I'll drop it in. Fade. So boom, I have a new snare. But this is very time consuming, and I figured out, what if we just, you know, why not just let me do this in a rack or something. So I made two layers here, three different layers here, three different samplers basically. And what I did here, let's go to the transient. I tried to separate, I tried to cut and chop off the transient of every snare. I dropped in, I don't know, like, how many samples here? 100 minimum. So there are 100 samples here. And in simpler, I was able to, you know, just separate and cut off the transient. This part here, I made a loop, I did some fade out, and I filtered, high pass filtered the low end on the transient because we don't want that. And I did the same with almost all the snares here, what I imported. So when I play the snare, let me solo it. So this section here only plays the transients. Alright, so I did the same with the bottoms, or the tummies as I call it. I set the start and the end section for the snares, for every snare, and I like to, you know, low pass filter them to get rid of the tails and the transient noise and everything other. So this is what we have in the tummy section, and I did the same with the tails. I set the start from basically after the bottom part, or if the snare doesn't contain too much or too heavy bottom, I was able to set it a little earlier and use the high pass filter to get rid of the bottom part, the bass section. And the other important stuff here is when I construct snares, I always delay the tummy and the tails. Of course, they don't start at the same time. So for the first, let me show you an example. Here is the transient. The tummy doesn't start at the same time when the transient, it is delayed a little. And the same happens with the tail. So this is what I try to do here. I didn't do anything with the transient, but with the tummy, I used a delay plugin to, you know, just delay it. I pushed up the width, so only the delayed version will go out. And I clicked on this time because I didn't want to sync the timing of the delay to the DAW. Instead, I would like to give some exact milliseconds to be able to delay the tummy part. And I mapped this to a macro, which is here, and I made a separate macro for every section. Where is this? Select tummy. Here is this tummy, here is a select tummy knob, and here is a delay tummy. So with this knob you can set the delay time for the tummy, so how far you want to play the tummy from the transient. And this happens with the tails too, the same delay, the same knob. Here is the tail delay. Of course I didn't set anything for the transient because the transient starts when you trigger the sound with your keyboard or anything. So this is the main idea. And if you want to, you know, just select the sample, you need to click here, this section here, where you dropped all the samples here. Right click and map to macro 1. This is what I did here. So basically, if you turn this knob, the select transient, it will, as you can see here, this little bar represents which transient or which sampler are you selecting when you turn the knob. And the same happened with the tummy. Here is the tummy selection. That bar is go through as you turn the knob. And the same with the tail. Here is the tail. You select the tail, and it's just, you know, goes through all the samples, and you can stop turning the knobs when you find a good tail or a good tummy which will fit into your song the best. Of course, I added other knobs, which is, you know, select tummy and select delay, but I use the tummy pitch, tail pitch, and the transient pitch to modify the pitch for every part, because in most of the cases I don't want to use the same pitch for every part. For example, if I want to tune up the tummy, I don't want to tune up the tail or the transient in most of the cases. I just want them at the same pitch before it was. So it is very handy if you can just tune or transpose only the tummy part. For example, watch this. So this is a very, very great little rack here, and I also added a pitch knob or a pitch MIDI device, or what is this? Which you may know transpose everything together, all the transient, all the times, and all the tails. It is a really great way to, you know, just tweak your snare with one knob. You don't need to go into the MIDI and just pull up everything. It is a lot easier to turn the knob than tweak the MIDI. Well, for me at least. So if you have thousands of snare samples, lots of sample packs or anything else, or you bought my pack, the dubstep designer snares, designer dubstep and drum and bass snares, I believe this is the name of the pack. It is available at Loopmasters under the RV samples label. So go and search after it or check the descriptions under the video. I will give you the link. So you can drop all the samples here, you know, separate all the parts, the transient, the tummies, the tails, etc. And you can make this rack really useful if you want to make great sounding snares really fast. So I think for most of the guys out there, this is enough, and this is a very handy tool. Let me show you in work. How fast was it? It's a totally different snare. It's not the same what you used before, because all the elements are mixed them together. And of course, from this point, you can start layering if you want. For example, just drop a, for example, this snare with really huge highs. Let me filter out the lows. We don't need that because we don't want them to conflict. Just, you know, copy them and let's listen them back. So how cool is that? But the coolest part is you can download this rack from the video descriptions below for free, only without the samples, because the samples are not royalty free. I use my own, you know, commercial sample packs. I mean, my commercial samples from my commercial release sample pack, so I cannot include the samples within the rack. But you can download the rack and you can make your own snares. I mean, you can build this rack, or you can put in your samples into this rack, and you can start layering, start making really unique, really cool sounding snares. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, and see you next time, guys. Bye bye.